The gathering storm, the story opens in the Quito system, where the mighty Galactic Trade Alliance holds its annual military parade. Thousands of massive alien warships float in perfect formation, each vessel stretching over 10 kilometers long, bristling with energy weapons and shield generators that shimmer like soap bubbles in space. Admiral Vex of the Reptilian Empire watches from his flagship's bridge, his scaled hands gripping the command chair. The parade showcases the galaxy's most feared fleets, the crystalline ships of the Silicon Collective, the bioorganic vessels of the Hive Worlds, and the energy-wreathed cruisers of the Plasma Lords. Each race demonstrates their military might. With weapons tests that light up the void. Suddenly, long-range sensors detect an approaching fleet. The signature is unknown, not matching any registered galactic civilization. Communications Officer Kane reports 12 small vessels approaching. The system's edge. On the main screen, the alien commanders see what appears to be a joke. 12 tiny ships, each barely 300 meters long, moving in a loose formation. The alien fleets burst into laughter across all communication channels. Admiral Vex sneers. What? Pathetic species dares approach our gathering with such toys? The crystal beings of the Silicon Collective emit their version of laughter, a sound like breaking glass. The Hive Queen's telepathic amusement ripples through her bio-ships. Captain Cole stands on the bridge of the lead Terran vessel, the UES Defiance. His weathered face shows no emotion as he watches the massive alien formations on his tactical display. His crew works quietly at their stations. No panic, no fear, just professional focus. Communications Specialist Reed reports the incoming mockery from the alien fleets. Sir, they're calling us space insects and cosmic dust. Reed says with a slight smile. Cole nods calmly. Let them talk. Open a general channel. The human captain's voice cuts through the alien chatter. This is Captain Cole of the Terran Defense Fleet. We're here to discuss trade agreements and mutual defense pacts. The response is immediate ridicule. Admiral Vex's voice booms across. Space. Terrans? Never heard of you? Your little ships wouldn't last 10 seconds against our weakest scout vessel. Other alien commanders join in. Commander Drac of the War Clan suggests using the human ships for target practice. The Plasma Lords offer to mercifully vaporize them quickly. Even the normally diplomatic Silicon Collective suggests the humans turn around before they embarrass themselves further. Captain Cole exchanges glances with his tactical officer, Lieutenant Stone. Both humans have served in the border wars against the Raider clans. They've seen real combat, not the parade formations displayed before them. Captain, Stone whispers, their formation is terrible. No overlapping fields of fire, no screening elements. They're sitting ducks. Cole activates the channel again. We understand your position. However, we came here in good faith. We're willing to demonstrate our capabilities if you're interested in seeing what Earth's children can do. The alien laughter intensifies. Admiral Vex decides to make an example. Very well, tiny humans. My scout squadron will show you why the galaxy respects reptilian might. 12 massive reptilian destroyers break formation, each one dwarfing the entire human fleet. Their hulls gleam with fresh war paint, and their energy cannons charge with visible power. The other alien races watch with anticipation, expecting a quick slaughter followed by resumed festivities. The human ships don't retreat. Instead, they form a tighter formation, their small hulls almost touching. To the aliens, it looks like frightened prey animals huddling together. Captain Cole's voice remains steady. All ships, this is Defiance Lead. Remember your training. Wolves hunt and tax. The reptilian squadron approaches with overconfident swagger. Admiral Vex watches from his flagship, already planning his victory speech. The other alien racers place bets on how quickly the human ships will be destroyed. But something changes in the tactical displays. The human ship's energy signatures suddenly spike. What appeared to be primitive fusion drives are actually something else entirely. The small vessels begin moving with impossible precision, their formation shifting like a school of fish. Lieutenant Stone reports quietly. All ships report ready. Fusion torpedoes armed, point defense systems online, combat AI synchronized. The aliens don't understand what they're seeing. The human ships are too small to carry serious weapons, too few to pose a threat. Their technology readings don't match. Anything in galactic databases. Captain Cole takes a deep breath as the reptilian destroyers close to optimal range. The galaxy is about to learn why humanity earned its place among the stars through blood, sweat, and stubborn refusal to surrender. All ships, Cole commands, his voice cutting through space, weapons free, show them what Terrans are made of. The first shots are about to be fired and the galaxy will never be the same. The dance of death, the reptilian destroyers open fire with casual confidence. 12 massive energy beams lance through space, each capable of vaporizing an asteroid. The alien fleets watch their screens, expecting to see 12 human ships turn to glowing debris. Instead, they witness something impossible. The human vessels scattered like startled birds. But their movement was too precise, too coordinated. They didn't flee randomly. They danced. Each ship moved in perfect harmony with its companions, creating a flowing pattern that confused the reptilian targeting computers. Admiral Vex blinked his large reptilian eyes. What kind of evasive maneuvers are those? The energy beams passed harmlessly through empty space where the human ships had been microseconds before. The Terran vessels regrouped instantly, their formation shifting from scattered to concentrated. In heartbeats. Captain Cole's voice remained calm on his bridge. First lesson complete. Stone, give them lesson 2. The used Defiance and her sister ship suddenly revealed their true nature. What the aliens had mistaken for primitive fusion drives were actually advanced gravitic engines. The small human vessels accelerated at impossible rates, pulling maneuvers that should have turned their crews into paste. But the humans had artificial gravity, inertial dampeners, and something the galaxy had never seen before: combat experience. Against impossible odds, the 12 Terran ships split into 3 groups of 4, each group moving in a different pattern. The first group went high, the second went low, and the third group charged straight at the center of the reptilian formation. Commander, Drake of the War Clans leaned forward on his bridge. Those maneuvers, their pilots should be dead from. The acceleration. The reptilian destroyers tried to track the fast-moving targets, but their massive gun turrets couldn't rotate fast enough. The human ships were inside their defensive perimeter before the aliens realized what was happening. Lieutenant? Stone's fingers danced over his weapons console. Fox went away. 12 fusion torpedoes launched simultaneously from a human fleet, but these weren't ordinary missiles. They were equipped with AI guidance systems that learned from every second of flight, sharing data through quantum entangled communication links. The reptilian point defense systems engaged, filling space with defensive fire. Several torpedoes were destroyed, but the remaining weapons adapted instantly. They began evasive maneuvers of their own, spiraling and weaving through the defensive fire like living things. 8 fusion torpedoes found their targets. The explosions were beautiful and terrible. Pure fusion fire bloomed against reptilian shields, each detonation carrying the power of a small star. The shields held for exactly 2.3 seconds before collapsing under the sustained plasma bombardment. 4 reptilian destroyers died in the first exchange. The remaining 8 destroyers tried to retreat, but the human ships pursued with relentless efficiency. Captain Cole had divided his forces perfectly. 4 ships herded the retreating destroyers while 8 others positioned themselves for the killing blow. The watching alien fleets fell silent. What they had expected to be a quick demonstration of power had become something else entirely. The tiny human vessels were systematically destroying ships 20 times their size. Admiral Vex's voice cracked across the communication channels. Impossible. No species has technology that advanced. Captain Cole responded while his ship performed a perfect barrel roll around a reptilian energy beam. We don't have better technology. Admiral, we have better tactics. The second wave of fusion torpedoes launched. This time, the remaining reptilian ships were ready. They formed a defensive circle, concentrating their point defense fire. But the human commanders had anticipated this response. Lieutenant Stone smiled as he activated a new weapons program, deploying hunter-killers. Each fusion torpedo suddenly split into 4 smaller warheads. What had been 12 missiles became 48 independent threats, each one following a different flight path. The reptilian point defenses were overwhelmed. In seconds, the remaining reptilian destroyers died quickly. In less than 10 minutes. The entire reptilian scout squadron had been annihilated. 12 small human ships had destroyed 12 massive alien warships without taking a single casualty. The silence across the alien communication channels was deafening. Captain Cole's voice cut through the quiet. This concludes our demonstration. We're still interested in trade agreements and mutual defense pacts, but we suggest you reconsider your negotiating position. Admiral Vex stared at his tactical display in shock. His supposedly inferior human opponents had just achieved something impossible, a perfect victory against overwhelming odds. His scaled hands trembled as he tried to understand what he had witnessed. The other alien fleets were equally stunned. The crystalline silicon collective's harmonic speech patterns became discordant with confusion. The Hive Queen's telepathic presence radiated uncertainty and fear. Captain Cole stood calmly on his bridge, watching the alien formations on his tactical display. His crew worked with quiet efficiency, reloading weapons and monitoring system. Status. The galaxy had just learned its first lesson about humanity. Never mistake size for strength, and never confuse mercy for weakness. But the real lesson was still to come. The swarm awakens. The aftermath of the reptilian squadron's destruction sent shockwaves through the gathered alien fleets. Emergency communications flashed between flagships as military leaders tried to process what they had witnessed. The impossible had happened. 12 tiny vessels had eliminated an entire squadron of heavy destroyers. Admiral Vex gripped his command chair, his reptilian features twisted with rage and humiliation. The destruction of his scout force demanded immediate response. His honor, his reputation, his very position in the reptilian hierarchy was at stake. All ships, battle stations. Vex commanded. Full fleet engagement. These humans will pay for their treachery. But Commander Drac of the War Clans interrupted the comm channel. His species had fought countless battles across the galaxy, and his tactical instincts were screaming warnings. Wait, Admiral, something's wrong here. Those human ships ... their energy signatures are increasing. Captain Cole stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching his tactical display as massive alien fleets began powering weapons and moving into attack formations. Hundreds of ships, each one a mobile fortress, preparing to crush his tiny force. Sir? Communications Specialist Reed reported, "We're receiving surrender demands from 14 different species. They're giving us 30 seconds to stand down." Cole turned to his tactical officer. "Stone, what's our status?" Lieutenant Stone's weathered face showed the slightest hint of a smile. "All ships report ready, Captain. The packages are in position." Packages? Reed looked confused. Cole activated the fleet communications channel. "All ships. This is Defiance, lead. Execute Operation Haymaker. Let's show them what a real Terran fleet looks like." What happened next defied everything the alien races thought they knew about space warfare. The 12 human ships suddenly separated, moving to precise coordinates in space. As they reached their positions, each vessel began transmitting a complex signal pattern. The alien sensors detected massive energy buildups, but not from the ships themselves. Space itself began to change. Reality rippled around specific coordinates as artificial wormholes tore open. The human ships hadn't come alone. They had been the advance guard, the reconnaissance force. What emerged from the dimensional tiers made the gathered alien fleets look like children's toys. The first ship through was the UES Leviathan, a Terran dreadnought stretching over 15 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull was scarred from 100 battles, its weapon ports glowing with barely contained energy. But it wasn't alone. Behind it came the true Terran battle fleet, 47 capital ships, each one a mobile fortress designed for one purpose: war. Battleships, carriers, heavy cruisers, and the pride of the Terran Navy, 3 planet killers. Vessels so large they generated their own gravity fields. The alien fleets watched in growing horror as more wormholes opened. Terran support vessels poured through repair ships, ammunition tenders, hospital ships, and mobile shipyards. This wasn't a diplomatic mission or a trade expedition. It was an invasion fleet. Admiral Vex's voice wavered as he tried to comprehend. The tactical display. How many ships? His sensors officer, a young reptilian named Kex, stammered the response. Sir, one count over 300 vessels, and more wormholes are opening. The Silicon Collective's harmonic voice reached a frequency of pure panic. Unknown fleet composition. Unprecedented tonnage. Energy signatures beyond classification. But the most terrifying sight was yet to come. From the largest wormhole emerged something that made even the planet killers look small. The Use Ragnarok, humanity's first and only Galaxy-class super dreadnought. At 50 kilometers long, it was less a ship than a mobile planet, bristling with enough firepower to sterilize entire star systems. Captain, Cole's voice now carried across the system with the authority of the entire Terran Defense Fleet behind it. Attention, alien fleets. I am Captain Cole, representing the Terran Colonial Authority. You have witnessed a demonstration of our capabilities. This is your final opportunity to open diplomatic channels. The alien fleets were paralyzed with indecision. What had seemed like an easy victory against primitive newcomers had become a potential war against an obviously advanced military power. Ships that had been moving into attack formations now hesitated, their commanders frantically calculating odds. Admiral Vex realized the trap they had all fallen into. The 12 small ships hadn't been weak, they had been bait. The humans had deliberately appeared vulnerable, drawing out aggressive responses while their main fleet prepared for battle. Commander Drek's tactical experience kicked in. All fleets, stand down. Do not engage. Repeat, do not engage. But it was too late. Some commanders, panicked by the sudden appearance of the Terran Armada, had already opened fire. Energy beams and missile salvos streaked toward the human vessels. The Terrans' response was immediate and overwhelming. Point defense systems that had been hidden during the earlier skirmish now revealed themselves. Walls of defensive fire intercepted the incoming attacks, while the massive human capital ships began returning fire. The real battle was about to begin, and the galaxy would learn why humans had earned their fearsome reputation among the stars. The age of galactic peace was ending. The age of human expansion had begun. Thunder of war, the galaxy's mistake, became clear in the first seconds of full-scale battle. What the alien fleets had interpreted as panic fire from frightened commanders was actually a coordinated probe attack, designed to test Terran defensive capabilities. The humans had once again turned their enemy's aggression into tactical advantage. The UES, Ragnarok's massive guns, spoke first. Each of its primary weapons was larger than most alien frigates, and when they fired, space itself seemed to scream. Coherent energy beams, each carrying the power of a solar flare, reached across the void in milliseconds. 12 alien capital ships simply ceased to exist. Admiral Vex watched his tactical display in horror as proud vessels that had served the reptilian empire for centuries were reduced to expanding clouds of superheated plasma. The human super dreadnought hadn't even used its full firepower. Those had been warning shots. All fleets, emergency scatter pattern, Vex commanded, his voice cracking with strain. Do not cluster. Repeat, do not cluster. But the Terran fleet had been designed for exactly this type of engagement. While the Galaxy-class super dreadnought provided overwhelming firepower, the smaller vessels moved with deadly precision. The same 12 ships that had destroyed the reptilian squadron now revealed their true role, not as primary combatants, but as target designators for the heavy units. Captain Cole coordinated the battle from his bridge with calm efficiency. Around him, his crew worked with the smooth precision of long experience. These weren't parade ground soldiers or ceremonial guards. They were veterans of the border wars, the raider conflicts, and the brutal campaigns that had forged humanity's reputation in the Outer Rim. Stone, give me targeting solutions on their command ships. Reed, patch me through to Admiral Kane on the Leviathan. The communication came through instantly. Admiral Kane's gruff voice carried across the tactical channel. Cole, you've done good work here. We'll handle the heavy lifting from here on out. The alien fleets tried to respond with their own coordinated attacks, but their formations were designed for intimidation, not actual combat. The massive ships that looked so impressive in parade formation became easy targets when they tried to maneuver in battle. The Hive Queen's bioships attempted to swarm the human vessels, using their organic adaptability to evolve new attack patterns in real time. But the Terran AI systems adapted faster, learning from each enemy mutation and developing countermeasures within seconds. The Silicon Collective's crystalline ships tried to use their advanced shielding technology, creating overlapping defensive fields that should have been impenetrable. The humans simply ignored the shields entirely, using penetrating torpedoes that phased through energy barriers and detonated inside the crystal hulls. Asterisk. Commander Drac of the War Clans recognized the tactical reality first. His species had survived countless conflicts by knowing when to fight and when to retreat. The humans weren't just winning. They were demonstrating complete technological and tactical superiority. All War Clan vessels fall back to minimum engagement. Range. Signal our intent to withdraw from combat, Drac commanded. But withdrawal was no longer an option. The Terran fleet had surrounded the alien formations in a perfect three-dimensional envelope. Every attempt to retreat was met by human ships that had anticipated the movement. The aliens were trapped in a killing field of their own making. The Plasma Lords made one final desperate attempt to turn the tide. Their energy-based life forms poured their essence directly into their ship's weapons, creating attacks that burned with the fury of dying stars. The display was magnificent and utterly futile. Terran shields absorbed the plasma bombardment. Without strain, the humans had fought energy beings before in the deep void between galaxies. They had learned to defend against attacks that most species couldn't even comprehend. Captain Cole's voice cut through the chaos of battle. Attention all alien vessels. This is your final warning. Stand down your weapons and prepare to receive boarding parties. Any ship that continues hostile action will be destroyed. The response was immediate. Across the alien fleets, weapons powered down and shields dropped. Species that had ruled star systems for millennia recognized the futility of continued resistance. Admiral Vex was among the last to surrender. His pride warred with his survival instincts as he watched the tactical display. Of the 300 alien ships that had gathered for the military parade, over 100 had been destroyed or disabled. The remainder were completely surrounded by human vessels. Sir, his communications officer whispered, the humans are requesting permission to come aboard. Vex closed his reptilian eyes and made the hardest decision of his military career. Stand down all weapons. Signal our surrender. The Battle of Keto System was over. In less than 2 hours, the Terran Defense Fleet had shattered the combined might of the galaxy's major powers. The age of alien dominance had ended not with diplomatic negotiation, but with the thunder of human guns. But Captain Cole knew the real work was just beginning. Winning the battle was simple compared to what came next, forging a lasting peace from the ashes of galactic pride. A new dawn 3 days after the Battle of Keto System, the galaxy's power structure had fundamentally changed. The massive alien fleets that had once projected force across star systems now sat under guard, their crews waiting nervously for the verdict of their new human overseers. Captain Cole stood in the main conference chamber of the UES Leviathan, facing the assembled alien commanders. The room had been hastily converted from the weapons bay, but it served its purpose. Representatives from every major galactic power sat at a circular table, There are various forms of alien physiology accommodated by adaptive furniture. Admiral Vex's scales had lost their lustrous sheen. His reptilian features showed the strain of the past 3 days as he struggled to accept the new reality. Beside him, Commander Drac maintained his warrior's composure, but his tactical mind was already working on the implications of human supremacy. Gentlemen, ladies, and beings of various classifications, Cole began, his voice carrying the weight of absolute authority. We need to discuss the future. The Silicon Collective's representative, a crystalline entity called Prime Resonance, emitted a harmonic query. What are your terms for our surrender? Cole smiled slightly. You're thinking about this wrong. We're not here to conquer the galaxy. We're here to stabilize it. The statement caused confusion among the alien representatives. Species that had spent millennia engaged in territorial expansion and military dominance couldn't comprehend a different approach to power. Admiral Kane stepped forward from behind Cole's chair. His weathered features and battle-scarred uniform spoke of decades of military service. Let me explain something about humans that you need to understand. We don't fight for conquest. We fight for peace. The Hive Queen's telepathic presence rippled with skepticism. Your weapons say otherwise? Your fleet could destroy entire worlds. Yes, Cole acknowledged. But we won't. Because that's not who we are. He activated a holographic display showing star charts of human space. The aliens leaned forward, studying the territorial boundaries they had never seen before. What they discovered challenged every assumption they had made about the mysterious Terrans. Human space was vast, larger than the combined territories of all the alien powers present. But instead of military installations and fortress worlds, the charts showed something unprecedented. Refugee colonies, medical stations, agricultural worlds dedicated to feeding displaced populations. You see, Cole continued, humanity has been dealing with the galaxy's problems for 2 centuries. Every time your wars displaced civilian populations, we took them in. Every time your territorial disputes created refugee crises, we provided aid. Every time pirates or raiders threatened trade routes, we hunted them down. Commander Drac's tactical mind processed the implications. You've been protecting the galaxy ... from us. From the chaos your power struggles created, yes. Admiral. Kane's voice carried no judgment, only statement effect. The border wars, the raider conflicts, the plasma rebellions, we've been fighting in the shadows, cleaning up the messes, keeping the peace where we could. The alien representatives exchanged glances. Their intelligence services had recorded reports of mysterious ships intervening in various conflicts, but they had dismissed these as rumors or isolated incidents. The reality was far more comprehensive than they had imagined. Admiral Vex found his voice. Why reveal yourselves now? Why not continue operating in secret? Cole's expression grew serious. Because the galaxy is heading toward a war that will destroy everything. Our intelligence networks have detected 3 separate military buildup campaigns that would have triggered system-wide conflict within the year. Billions would have died. He gestured to the assembled alien commanders. Your parade today was the final straw. Every major power demonstrating their military might, preparing for the conflicts to come. We decided it was time to introduce a new variable into the equation. The Plasma Lord representative, a being of pure energy contained within a mechanical shell, spoke with a voice like controlled lightning. And that variable is your overwhelming military superiority. No, Cole corrected. The variable is choice. He activated another display, this one showing detailed economic and technological data. We're offering full membership in the Terran Colonial Authority. Shared technology, coordinated defense, mutual economic benefits. The only requirement is that you stop fighting each other. The silence that followed was profound. Species that had defined themselves through military competition and territorial expansion were being offered something they had never experienced. Genuine partnership. Commander Drac spoke first. The war clans accept. His declaration triggered a cascade of similar responses. The Reptilian Empire, the Silicon Collective, the Hive Worlds, one by one, they accepted the new paradigm. Admiral Vex looked at the human captain with something approaching respect. You could have simply conquered us all. Cole nodded. Yes, we could have. But then we'd just be another empire, ruling through fear. That's not the galaxy we want to. Bill, the Battle of Keto System had ended in victory. But the real triumph was just beginning. The creation of a galactic civilization based on cooperation rather than conquest. Humanity had finally come home to the stars, not as conquerors, but as the peacemakers they had always been destined to become. The end asterisk.